Bad days and MS. We all have them. I had one this week, and I wanted to do a video to share my thoughts on bad days, how we can get through them, and some reflections about bad days. Hello, my dear friends, and welcome. My name is Vickie Hadge, and this is Even So It Is Well. On my channel, I share my thoughts on living well with MS. This does not mean that my thoughts are necessarily going to agree with your thoughts, and it also does not mean that my thoughts are medical advice. It just means that I'm thoughtful. So I had a bad day this week. I can honestly say I've been living well with MS for 15 plus years, but that doesn't mean I don't have bad days. We all have bad days. It's normal, right? And I just wanted to share my thoughts on what the bad day was like for me, maybe some ideas on self-care when we're having bad days, and some reflections on what led up to that bad day. So my bad day wasn't really a full bad day. It was a bad evening, a bad night. It happened after Zumba class. I go to Zumba about once a week, and I really enjoy it. Lots of fun with my friends and dancing, lots of loud music. So it's a good time. But it gets hot in there, and I get hot, and it's high impact. So my symptoms tend to flare when I'm in class. When we get overheated, our symptoms can flare. It's called Uthoff's phenomenon, and I'll put a link above and in the description below to a video on that. But my left leg can become really symptomatic. I usually push through it, but I couldn't this time. About halfway through class, I had to leave. My leg was spasming. It wasn't moving the way I needed it to move, and the bottom of my foot felt like it had blisters all over it. It was quite painful. So I was frustrated, I was angry, I was disappointed. Do any of you have days like this? Let me know in the description below. So I went home, and I had something for dinner, and I sat on the couch, and I pouted, and I shared my frustrations with my husband, and I did some stretching, and I took some baclofen, and I went to bed in a pout, having a bad day. And the next morning I got up and I was reflecting on it and thinking about the bad days versus the good days. Having bad days is normal, and having bad days can be helpful to us. Without the bad, you don't know the good. Without the darkness, you can't see the light. So it is something that can be helpful for me when I have a bad day, to contrast the bad days to the good days. And I honestly have more good days than bad days. And it is helpful to have that reminder that I need to care for myself. So one of the things that we can do when we're having a bad day is self-care. And I invite you to take exquisite care of yourself when you're having a bad day. Some of you have heard this term before in my videos. Take exquisite care of yourself. I invite you to think of someone you love. It can be a partner, a friend, a child, someone you really, really love. You got that? Someone in mind? Okay, now think about them having a bad day. They're not feeling well, something's going wrong, they're in a funk. What would you do to help that person you loved? Would you bring them nutritious food? Would you sit with them and maybe watch a funny movie? Would you give them a massage? Would you just let them vent? Anything else you would do? Once you have that list of things that you would do for your friend, your loved one, do those things for yourself. It's okay to take a day and indulge in self-care. Take exquisite care of ourselves when we're having a bad day. You know, in hindsight, I could have done a little bit better when I got home from the gym, but I let the bad day happen. And sometimes that's okay too. Just lean into it. Have the bad day. The next day, you can reflect and move forward. So in reflecting on my bad day, I was thinking about what brought this on? Why did it happen this day? And the previous weekend, I had gone away with some girlfriends. We went up to the mountains and we had a great girls' weekend, and we went to a museum of contemporary art. It was really fun, but it got me out of my normal routine. I was sleeping in a strange bed. I wasn't doing the exercise that I typically do and stretches that I typically do. I may have eaten some food that was outside of my normal healthy food. Yeah, there may have been some potato chips. And then there was some wine, which may have been a little bit more than I typically do. So when I got home from the weekend, I was tired. I was out of digestive sorts. I wasn't feeling 100%. But I decided to push on and do what I do. So the day that I had the bad day, I got up and I took my 2-mile walk that I do in the morning with my friend. And then I came home and I did yoga. I'm doing a 30-day yoga journey. And then I went to Zumba. And by the time I got to Zumba, I was already 12,000 steps plus into my day. And my average is about 10 to 11,000. So I was already pushing it physically. And then I went a little harder. And my body said, nope. Has this happened to any of you? You're like, I'm going to do it. And you push yourself pretty hard. And then your body says, nope. Let me know in the comments below. So it gave me a chance to reflect. All of these things could have contributed to my bad day. And it's a good reminder for me to take care of myself on a regular basis. I can still go and have a girls' weekend, but maybe be a little bit more mindful of my sleep and my diet and my exercise and my stretching, and, you know, be a little bit more careful with the wine. And what I mean by careful is full of care. We really need to be full of care in how we take care of ourselves. So the reflection piece after a bad day can be really helpful to help us avoid the next bad day. I want to close with, I know you have bad days. We all have bad days. But I also want to remind you that your track record's pretty good. You've survived 100% of your bad days so far. And I bet that will continue. The question of the day is, what do you do on your bad days? How do you indulge in self-care? How do you take exquisite care of yourself? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoy these videos and content like this, please give it a like, the thumbs up underneath the video. This helps this channel and it helps it to reach more people. Also, if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Until next time, be well.